What if we use the 12GB RTX 3060 to play the latest games on the Ultrawide 1440p monitor in 2025? Because why not? Let's find out. To test this, I paired the Asus Dual RTX 3060 with the Ryzen 5 7600X CPU as part of the Be Quiet PC build. And we'll be experiencing the games today on one of my favorite monitors. This is MSI 341CQP QD OLED 175Hz monitor. If you are interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can find them on Amazon at the links in the description below. Let's start with Path of Exile 2, native 3440 by 1440 using NVIDIA DLAA. All graphics settings are absolutely maxed out, and we are not using dynamic culling or dynamic resolution. Those are turned off. This is not a good way to play the game because we're barely getting above 20 FPS, and that is to be expected with the RTX 3060 at such a high resolution. So we'll have to make some adjustments to the settings. First, we should lower the most expensive setting, that is Shadow and GI. Let's go for high instead of ultra. And just like that, we almost doubled our FPS. It is now 44. However, that is still not enough because as soon as we start casting magic, FPS drops significantly. And if there are a lot of enemies on the screen, that's going to be even worse. So we have to make further adjustments before we proceed. Because we're using a 1440p monitor, we can just go ahead and enable resolution upscaling, set it to quality mode. The image looks just as good as native, so there is just no reason not to use it because we're getting more FPS just like that. We are at 70 FPS already. I think this is a good point to actually start our testing. Let's gather some enemies just to emulate a massive battle. And there we go. As soon as we start casting spells, we're still getting a dip to around 45 FPS. So yeah, that's just the way this game works. FPS drops significantly. Although that experience was still playable, it wasn't quite as smooth as I would have liked it to be for such an amazing action RPG game. So we'll have to make some further adjustments to the settings in order to get higher FPS even during combat. Let's lower Shadow and GI quality a little bit more. I'm setting it to low right now. That gave us an additional 10 FPS or so, but that is still not going to be enough in order to stay above 60 at all times. So I think we'll have to lower the resolution upscaling quality even further. Let's select DLSS balanced. Some of the finer details, such as grass, are not as sharp as they used to be on DLSS quality, although the overall presentation is still pretty good, I would say. Here we have a large group of enemies. Let's start our testing. 49 FPS was the lowest number I've seen so far. Not bad, considering that we had that many enemies. In my opinion, this is a perfectly fine experience because this is one of the more graphically demanding levels in the game. There will be other levels in the game where FPS will be much higher. There's one more setting that we can tweak to improve FPS by a lot, and that is turn off global illumination. Just leave shadows on, and shadows are on low. Just like that, we got additional 10 FPS. But will that be enough when we start casting magic? Let's gather a crowd of enemies to test it out. There we go. This is good. Let's see. 59, 55 FPS, 53 FPS. So even with these settings, we still can't stay above 60 at all times. We could lower DLSS quality a little bit more. Let's set it to performance mode. The image is much softer now, but it's still kind of okay, considering that this is the RTX 3060 that doesn't cost that much. It's acceptable in my opinion, because we can still have fun. And let's go ahead and start our test. 52 FPS, 50 FPS was the lowest number I've seen. At this point, it looks like it's pointless lowering shadows and GI quality or even resolution scaling, because we're still dipping to around 50-ish FPS, just because how demanding some of the effects in this game are. And that's just the way it is. Personally, I would stick with a higher graphics quality and a higher resolution upscaling. I'm giving the RTX 3060 a pass in this game. This experience was enjoyable. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is up next, and this game likes high memory capacity on graphics cards, so 12 GB of memory on the RTX 3060 is a good thing in this game. We are at native 3440 by 1440, ultra graphics quality preset. Full ray tracing is disabled, but we'll take a look at that a little bit later. And resolution upscaling is off for now as well. We are using DLAA. Judging by this performance at native resolution, I think we have a pretty good chance to have a good time in this game, because we already see 30 plus FPS. Yeah, even here, 35. So that's a good start. But we are aiming for 60 plus FPS, so the first thing we should do is use the DLSS resolution upscaling. We'll set it to quality mode, and just like that, without any major image quality reduction, we got 50 plus FPS. This is already playable and enjoyable, I would say. We are dipping to around 47 in some scenes, so is that a huge problem? No. Bear in mind that this is one of the most graphically demanding scenes in the game, the jungle. In other scenes, such as this museum, we're getting 70 plus FPS and 60 plus consistently. So this is a good experience. And if performance dips to around 50-ish FPS in more demanding scenes, I think it is acceptable. However, if that's not good enough for you, then you can always lower the graphics quality just a little bit. Let's set it to high, and we can actually keep texture pool size on ultra. DLSS stays on quality mode because there's no reason to disable that. With this set of settings, we're getting 50 plus FPS in the jungle. Generally, FPS doesn't dip below 50. Let's see. In this scene right here, usually FPS dips over here. No, still 50 plus. So if you're looking for a solid experience with fluid image, then this is it. High graphics quality preset with DLSS set to quality mode. And if we wanted a consistent 60 plus FPS, then we could use DLSS balanced. That way, even in the jungle, we're still getting above 60 FPS at all times. No dips below 60 pretty much in any scenes. So this is the perfect experience. However, the image presented on the screen is slightly softer, because DLSS quality is the best option for image quality. Obviously, that's in the name. Balanced is still okay. It is enjoyable. I don't mind playing the game like this. And just out of curiosity, let's try full ray tracing, because this game already uses ray tracing basic. Let's try maxing out full ray tracing, shall we? Yeah, that is not happening. We barely have above 10 FPS, 14 to be exact. So full ray tracing is not a playable experience on the RTX 3060 at this resolution. I even lowered the texture pool size a little bit to ensure that the graphics card has well above what is necessary for the ray tracing to run. As you can see, we still have 0.8 gigabytes remaining of free video memory space, but no, this is not playable and you can't really appreciate anything with this kind of performance. And that is with DLSS still set to balanced mode. Let's go ahead and lower ray tracing quality to medium. This is more acceptable. At least it's not a complete slideshow. With this kind of performance, we can still move around comfortably, although this is not a pleasant experience to actually play the game. This is just to kind of see what the ray tracing technology is looking like. I do not want to use these settings to play the game. I saved the best for last. This is STALKER 2, and out of the bunch, this is the most GPU demanding game. We are at native resolution, field of view 100, epic graphics quality preset, NVIDIA DLAA enabled, everything is maxed out. At native resolution, the experience is pretty much unplayable, 20 plus FPS. This is not the way to play this game. Let's go ahead and speedrun this a little bit. We'll use DLSS balanced mode right away, paired with the epic graphics quality preset. Because I know for sure that DLSS quality is not going to help a bunch to improve that FPS and get us to 60 FPS consistently. That is just not happening because, as you can see, even on balanced mode, we are barely getting above 30 FPS. Basically console-like experience, but do we really want to settle for this on the PC? No, I don't think so. I still want to see close to 60 FPS. That means that we have to lower graphics quality. Let's set it to high. DLSS stays unbalanced. We are at 40 plus FPS and this is somewhat playable, but we're still nowhere near 60 FPS. You see, even lowering graphics quality is not netting us massive FPS improvements. And it is worth noting that high graphics quality preset is the last graphics quality preset where lighting actually looks nice. If we select medium, it's gonna change, and yeah, it's gonna change for the worse. Yet it appears that we don't have any other choice. If we want to achieve that 60 plus FPS, we have to go to medium graphics quality preset. DLSS stays unbalanced. This game just isn't budging. Take a look at that. We're still at 40 plus FPS, even though we've sacrificed the lighting. Yeah, this is not good. Although some may say that this is already enough for us to try and enable frame generation. RTX 30 series cards still don't have NVIDIA's frame generation, but we can use AMD's frame generation. Let's see if that is a good idea. Enable frame generation by AMD. This is actually not too bad. The image fluidity is now nice, 70 plus FPS. However, controls responsiveness is not okay. I mean, I'm more of a kind of in the middle when it comes to latency sensitivity, but even for me, this is not okay. I feel a disconnect between the mouse and the crosshair in the game. But at least in terms of image quality, it's fine. I'm saying this because I'm genuinely surprised. When we were testing this feature on the regular 16:9 monitor, we had all sorts of issues with like ghosting and just after image left by the gun and the scope, but it appears to be okay on the ultra-wide. Yeah, strange how that is. Let's disable frame generation and keep chasing that 60 FPS experience. Let's select low graphics quality preset. DLSS stays unbalanced. I can confirm that 60 FPS is just not happening when using the RTX 3060 with this monitor. Yeah, it's not happening at all. 50 plus FPS is the most you can count on. using the lowest graphics quality preset and DLSS set to balanced. Honestly, while this is playable, it's not enjoyable. I would shelf this game until I could get a better GPU to actually enjoy it, because this is a beautiful experience and I'm actually quite enjoying playing this game. I haven't finished it yet, again, because I'm waiting for a better GPU to arrive, RTX 50 series, to continue enjoying this game. And hopefully the game developers will bring out more patches, which means that my experience will be better when I get back to the game. But let me know what you think. Would you play this game like this? Or would you wait for a better GPU? In conclusion, the RTX 3060 was able to deliver a pleasant experience in most games. However, beware that there are some extremely GPU demanding games that you will not be able to enjoy on the ultra-wide monitor. I'm talking about STALKER 2 and pretty much all other games that were built in Unreal Engine 5 recently. With that said, the RTX 3060 is still relevant in 2025 for AAA gaming. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle results prove it. Let me know in the comments what you think about this setup, and if you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to reward my work with a like, that helps out a lot, and subscribe for more if you haven't already. If you are interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can find them on Amazon at the links in the description below. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.